Good evening, everyone. This is the night you all have been waiting for, Carmel High School's annual academic transition night. We are so excited to welcome the class of 2025. Tonight, we are going to introduce you to Carmel High School and go over everything you need to know to have a smooth transition. Let's start off with introductions. I'm Leslie Brown, one of the freshman counselors.
I'm Kate Barston, another freshman counselor.
I'm Dave Schlepper, another freshman counselor.
And I'm Carrie Schwartz, a freshman counselor.
And here at Carmel High School, we are lucky enough to have our own social worker as well.
Hi, I'm Mary Reese. I'm the freshman social worker. You can find me working alongside the counselors in the freshman counseling department. And I'm here to help support the freshmen with any kind of social emotional need.
Thank you, Mary. So let's talk a little bit about Carmel High School and the Freshman Center. We are lucky enough to have our own Freshman Center, and these are the leaders of our school. We have Dr. Tom Harmus, who is the principal over the entire school, and then Mrs. Skeens Benton and Mr. Glander, who are our assistant principals who oversee the Freshman Center. In the Freshman Center, we actually have our own nurse, Mrs. Haynes, who was at Clay Middle School for a while, so some of you may recognize her. We also have our own cafeteria in the Freshman Center where most of the freshmen eat lunch, although we do have 3 cafeterias in the school and freshmen are welcome to eat in any of the 3 cafeterias. The only difference in the Freshman Center is the floor design. We have different colored lockers on each floor, and it's basically shaped like a triangle, so you can't get lost. But all the same classes, everything is offered on each of the 3 floors. Now I'm going to turn it over to Mrs. Schwartz.
Hi, everyone. This is Carrie Schwartz. I just wanted to quickly go over the block scheduling that we use here at Carmel High School, which is probably similar to what you've been using in the middle schools as well. So if you notice, our school colors are blue and gold, and so we have blue days and gold days. On blue days, students have 4 class periods that are each 90 minutes long with 10-minute passing periods in between. And then on gold days, they have 4 different classes that are also 90 minutes long with 10-minute passing periods. The nice thing about Carmel High School is that on gold days during second period, everyone in our entire building is on SSRT, or Supported Student Resource Time. That's basically a 90-minute study hall that we build into the school day. And one cool thing about the way we do SSRT at the high school is that it is all student driven. And so in the middle schools, a lot of times the teachers determine how Core Plus time was used. But here at the high school, students can make a decision about what they want to do with their SSRT time. So they're assigned to a classroom, which they're welcome to stay in, but if they need reteaching or recitation from a teacher, they can get a pass and go visit that teacher during SSRT. Or if they need to study for tests or make up homework from days that they may have been absent or things like that, it's a great resource for students to have. Now I'm going to transition over to Canvas. So bear with me for one moment as I move to Canvas and show you the awesome course that we've designed for 8th graders. Okay. So we know that this transition is a big one and that there are so many questions. We've designed this course with you in mind. And so really we think that most, if not all of your questions can be answered right here in this course. I'm going to show you just kind of the framework of the course first, and then we'll start working through it just a little bit together. So first on the home page, you'll notice the program of studies, which is listed. And basically the program of studies is our book that explains everything about the courses we offer here at Carmel High School. In the program of studies, you can also find information about the diploma types, graduation pathways, all of our upper level courses like AP, IB, dual credit classes, and so much more. Then the rest of the program of studies is broken down by department, and you can find courses within each department that we offer here. You'll also find a small blurb about the course, so you'll know just kind of the essence of what happens in that class. And then you'll also find out if it's a regular weight course, partial weight course, or fully weighted course, which we'll talk about more later. And so that is a really helpful tool to have when you're curious about courses. We always encourage families to read about the courses that their child signs up for, so that they don't run into any surprises. One example I share is our jewelry class, which is, you hear it and you think, oh, I might be taking or making different kinds of jewelry or friendship bracelets, but it's actually a metals class in which you melt metal and you learn how to make jewelry. And so we want to make sure that you know where to find the program of studies so that you can find out about each class that your child signs up for. Next, you'll find our 8th grade transition tile, and that is for all upcoming events like Frosh Rock that happens in April, and then Greyhound Kickoff, which will happen in August right before school starts back up. Those are awesome events that we have to help students feel more confident about coming to the high school, and so you won't want to miss those. Next, you'll see our scheduling tile, and that's what we'll be working through most today with you. In you'll find all the information that you need to make educated decisions about which courses would be best for your child next year. And then finally, you'll find our contact information. This will tell you who your counselor is, your child's counselor, and how to find us or get a hold of us should you need us. So without further ado, I will go into the scheduling tile and start there. One thing to note is that all 8th grade students will be invited to this course in January on the 4th. And so once your child accepts the course, you will be able to view the course as an observer, and you'll be able to have access to all of this as well. So let's go into the scheduling tile together. We like to take scheduling from a very systematic approach at the high school. And so you'll see that we have 4 specific steps that you need to go through in order to create a perfect schedule for your child. The first one is to go through this module, which explains not only what's happening in the present, but also helps you think a little bit more about the future and future courses that your child may want to take. The next step is to complete the course selection worksheet, and that is just something for your own personal records. It helps you understand the layout of a schedule and how we're planning, because in the middle schools, students sign up for several electives and they change every quarter. But here at the high school, our electives only change at the semester, and so our structure is just a little bit different. This gives you a nice visual for how to set up your child's schedule for 9th grade. The third step is class registration, which Mr. Schlepper will talk about in a little bit. We use PowerSchool to register students electronically, probably something similar to what your kids have done in the past. And so it should be easy breezy for most kids. And then finally, if you have questions, we have a very detailed parent FAQ that's linked right here, as well as our contact information. So you'll see the calendar of events when we're going to be working with each school on scheduling. And then if you click next, this takes you to the table of contents for our module. And so there are lots of different things that we could cover in here. We may gloss over some because they're not really relevant to freshmen, like AP, IB, and dual credit classes. We don't have a lot of those to offer, so we'll just kind of gloss over that page. However, we do want to make sure that you know where to find that should you have questions about it. On the next page, we'll go to Grad Pathways, which is kind of the new Indiana system for making sure that kids are college and career ready. So now I'm going to turn it over to my amazing colleague, Mrs. Barston, and she'll talk about Grad Pathways.
Hi, everyone. So the graduation pathways, as Mrs. Schwartz referenced, is a cool new way for students to graduate from high school. So starting with the class of 2023, students have a bunch of different options in order to prove that they are ready for the world. So each category is divided into different requirements that students can check off their list in order to fulfill these different categories, or buckets, as we lovingly reference them. So the first is credits, and this is demonstrated by earning 1 or more of those 3 different diplomas that you see there, which I will talk about here in a moment. And so that is all students have to do for that first bucket. The second bucket is to demonstrate employability skills. So there's a bunch of different options that students can choose from. The one that we're so lucky to offer at Carmel High School to freshmen is via their biology classes. So all students, all freshmen, will take biology and they will complete a project their second semester of biology. And we are so grateful to our biology teachers for walking our students through this. They will help students complete those forms. There's a form, of course, for that, and they submit those to us. So that is something that students will have checked off by their freshman year. So that's pretty awesome. The third bucket is post-secondary ready competencies. And all of these yellow bullet points are things that we can look at throughout students' experience throughout all 4 years of high school. So, and students only need to complete one of these. So as we look at these, if you do have specific questions, we're happy to touch base with you. But this, again, is something that we can talk about at any point in students' high school careers. So The next slide describes our specific diplomas, or I should say the state of Indiana's specific diplomas. So the Core 40 is a graphic that I use a lot as a cheat sheet when I'm scheduling students, because it so clearly outlines how many credits students need in order to graduate. So the Core 40 is a college-bound diploma, and it is 40 credits. So you'll notice that each subject requires a different amount of credits. Each credit is at Carmel High School equal to 1 semester. So you'll notice English, students need to earn 8 credits, which means students will be taking 4 years of English. And as you look down at the different subjects, you'll notice there are different, you make sure you read the fine print, and we'll help you out with that in terms of math. And then as you keep looking down at that graphic, students also do need to earn, over the course of their 4 years in high school, 2 credits of PE or physical education and 1 credit of health. So at Carmel High School, students can earn their PE 1 credit one of 2 ways. They can either take it in the summer through Indiana Online Academy prior to their freshman year, which Mr. Schlepper will talk about here in a moment, or they can take it their fall semester of freshman year in person. That is essentially the only 2 options students can do for physical education 1. For PE 2, we have a bit more wiggle room. Students can take it either in person the second semester of their freshman year. They can take it after their freshman year over the summer through Indiana Online Academy, similarly to PE 1, or they can fulfill requirements for the PE 2 waiver, which can be fulfilled via participation in a Carmel High School or an IHSAA sanctioned sport, marching band, color guard, accents, ambassadors, the dance team. So fulfilling the whole season of one of those things I just mentioned will earn students a credit in PE 2. So the other credit that's listed there is the health credit. That credit must be taken in person at Carmel High School. There are several student health components that students really do need to have in person. So please plan on scheduling that into your freshman or sophomore schedule. We like students to get that credit fulfilled either their freshman or sophomore year. So that must be taken in person. Students may also fulfill that health and wellness requirement for the diploma via taking interpersonal relationships, which is offered through our Family and Consumer Science department. If you do have questions about the course description, please visit our awesome online program of studies, which Mrs. Schwartz mentioned. That will give you descriptions and breakdowns of what the curriculum is all about. So that is the Core 40 diploma, and it deems you college ready. The Core 40 with academic honors and Core 40 with technical honors designations are 2 awesome things, 2 awesome goals that we encourage students to, if they are thinking about challenging themselves, to consider pursuing. But these, again, are things that we talk about throughout their 4 years of high school. The only component of the academic honors diploma that we discuss between 8th and 9th grade is the foreign language component, which is kind of the heftiest requirement of that diploma. And that is 3 years of one language or 2 years each of 2 different languages. So if students want to get a head start on that, it's always nice to have that first year of language in their freshman year. I will mention that the Core 40 diploma does not require a world language. And it, as I mentioned, it is a college-bound diploma. On the next screen is an internal document that, as you work with your child, is kind of nice to draft out different options throughout high school. Now, I know 12th grade seems a far time away, but I like to use this document just to look at it to see, as you notice in 9th grade, English, math, biology, and world history are typed because those are the 4 classes that all freshmen will take. There are 3 blank spaces that students can fill in electives. We will add any labs that students may be taking. And that is, again, just sort of a document that you can use for your own files. Again, this is not something students are required to fill out. It's just kind of something nice that can help provide a visual in order to map out your students' classes. And the next slide I will pass this over to my colleague, Mr. Schlepper, who's going to talk about all the awesome options here at Carmel High School for your child.
Hi, everyone. I'm Dave Schlepper. I'm one of the counselors here, and I know that this is a very exciting time for you all. I used to be an 8th grade science teacher here in Carmel Clay Schools, and the counselors always came over, and I know it was always an exciting time for all the students to think about what they could take their freshman year. So we're going to go through a couple the slides here to kind of go over what kind of courses are going to be available for current freshmen. Basically, all freshmen will be taking 4 core subjects: English, math, science, and social studies. And also, most freshmen complete their PE and health requirements like Ms. Barson talked about a little bit earlier. And like I said, we'll talk about the PE options a little bit later on. One of the best things about Carmel High School is the number of electives, the number of courses that we have to offer. It's an amazing list of things that you guys can try out your freshman year. So let's first go over the core subjects. First off is English. We do offer regular English, honors English, and a co-taught honors English, honors world history block class. We also list some other classes students can take in later years if you'd like to look at that. Next up is math. And we want to make note that the freshman counselors will actually look at what the 8th grade students are taking currently, and we'll actually put that in their schedule for the following year. So you don't have to worry about that, but if you have any questions about the math placement, we'd be more than happy to help you out. Next up is social studies. And here you'll see a chart of classes, but for the freshman year, all students will be taking world history. But we do offer some different levels. We offer regular world history, the honors English, honors world history block class, and AP world history. The science class that all freshmen take is biology. And, we do offer regular biology as well as honors biology. And again, there are other classes that you can look at for what is to come in years ahead. On this page, I'd like to bring attention to a link at the top. This year, we are offering a link that takes you to a YouTube page where you should be able to look at some of the different electives we offer freshmen. Now, eventually, we're going to have all the different electives that are going to be listed here, and you can peruse through those and see what kind of neat things we do offer current freshmen. But that's one of the new virtual program of studies that we offer that we're pretty excited about. Also on this page is a link to the department chair. So as you're looking through all the different classes and as you're looking through the videos and watching them, some questions may pop up that you just can't answer. So that's why we had that link there for the department chairs, and they are wonderful resources who'll be more than willing to help answer any questions you have. And then also on this page is a list of the courses that we do offer to freshmen. And as you can see, it is quite extensive. At the top, we have the required courses, and then we have a couple columns or a couple rows with all the neat electives that we offer freshmen. So look through there and see what we have to offer. It is really awesome. One of the questions that always pops up every year is, should my child take honors or AP classes during freshman year? It's a great question. So to help you out, we've included a document below that offers some answers to frequently asked questions regarding this. So it goes over questions like, what are the characteristics of a successful honors student? What's the difference? What's so different about these honors courses? How are they weighted differently? So as you go through this, we want you to look at some of the basic information about the different honors and AP courses that are offered to freshmen. So please read through this if this pertains to your child, as there's a lot of great information out there. And like Ms. Short said earlier, this is a slide that we're not really going to spend much time on, but it is there for you if you have any interest about dual credits, AP courses, and later on IB courses. Now we talk about every student's dream, doing summer school classes. Well, we do offer a summer school class for incoming freshmen, and that class is PE1. So all the information about signing up for that class is below. And like Ms. Barson said earlier, if you don't want to take, or if your student doesn't want to take PE1 over the summer, they will need to take it during the fall semester of their freshman year. So the majority of freshmen knock out their PE1 requirement by either doing it over the summer or doing it the fall of their freshman year. And like Mrs. Barson said, PE2, you can either take it during the spring semester, you can take it the following summer, or you can do one of those waiver requirements like playing an IHSA sport, being on the dance team, being in marching band, or getting to a high level show choir. So now we're at the point where the Canvas course, which explains how students actually choose their classes. And this is actually very similar to what they've done at the middle school over the years. So hopefully this looks very similar. So on the far left hand, so all they have to do is they have to log on to their PowerSchool student portal. And then once they've done that, on the left-hand side, they'll need to click on class registration. And on this page, you'll actually see different departments. Students will need to register for English, science, social studies, and whatever electives they choose. So remember, the Freshman Center counselors will enter the math selection for them, so you don't have to worry about that. So in order to choose a class, all you have to do is click on the pencil icon, which leads to a window that shows options. And as you can see, there's a world language window that popped up for our example. And if a student wants to take a world language, they will need to click on both semesters since it is a full year class. Now, some departments have a lot of course offerings. So if you don't see the class that you want in the first window that pops up, all you got to do is click on that little number 2, and then it'll take you to some more offerings. And then once the student selects all the classes, a box will appear that shows what they've actually selected. Now, when the students get done, because we've already done the math courses for them, they will need to have 12 boxes. Now, they really have 14 since we do the math selections. And the reason for this is because they'll have 7 classes in the fall, as well as 7 classes in the spring. And then at the bottom, all they have to do is hit that submit button, and they'll be able to see the list of classes they've chosen. And students can actually make as many changes as they like up until January 18th. So what are the next steps? After January 18th, the Freshman Center counselors will go through all the 8th grade schedules to make sure that they look good. And if we see something that we have a question about or we need to talk with you about, then we will definitely reach out to you and figure out how to meet and talk and discuss your child's schedule. But one of the questions always pops up, hey, what if I want to change a class? I decided, I don't want to take this class. I'd rather take this other class. So all you have to do after the 18th is email the freshman counselor. And we'd be more than happy to help you out because we're super excited about helping you and getting you guys transitioned to the high school. And at this point, I'm going to turn it back over to Mrs. Schwartz.
Yes. So that was a lot of information about the way we choose classes. Now I'm going to give you a couple of examples of what a typical schedule might look like after you've chosen all of the courses. So bear with me. I'm going to go back to our PowerPoint here and just show you a couple of examples. This gives you a good visual about what a schedule looks like. Again, Mr. Schlepper said we're scheduling 7 courses each semester, and that's probably the biggest change for your 8th grader. And so if you look at the schedule in front of me, this has an example of a student who's in English, and then daily algebra. That's a lab assignment that we would make on our end when we put in the student's math class. Then this student also has world history, biology, a full year of yearbook, and a full year of technical theater. Another example, this is a student who just has the 4 regular classes each semester, but then they also took German 1, APC, which stands for Advanced Physical Conditioning. That's for our athletes who are on a CHS roster. If your student is definitely going to be playing football or track or baseball or any other sports, this may be a requirement from the coach. Look for more information to come about those. And then transportation is another year-long course. Okay, so now we're going to switch back over to the Canvas course and finish out our presentation with Mrs. Brown. She's going to bring it home for us. So give me 1 second while I bring Canvas back up, and I'll turn it over to you, Mrs. Brown.
Wow, that was a lot of information, and I am sure your heads are spinning right now. But the good news is you can watch this awesome video as many times as you need to find the answers to all the questions you may have. The most important thing that we want you to take away from tonight is we will take care of each and every one of you. So don't hesitate to reach out to us if you have any questions or concerns. Thank you so much for joining us this evening, and we will look forward to meeting the class of 2025. Good night.
Good night.